Today on the podcast, I have Kathleen Sweeney. Kathleen, welcome to the Writing Coach podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
So take us back to the origins. Take us back to the beginning of BookBrush. How did it all begin?
You know, it's kind of a fun story. So what we thought was we were going to do was build an email platform for authors, kind of like a MailChimp, but for authors. And we had this teeny tiny image creation piece. Guess what the authors liked? The image creation piece. So we ended up over time shutting down the email service. That was a fun idea, but it didn't pan out. And really building up the image creation part. Like it was so simple at the beginning. And they were like, that's really cool. You know, the authors tell you where they want you to go. So then we just kept building and building, renamed it to BookBrush. And I will say kind of the rest is history, but that isn't even what we thought we were going to do.
That's amazing. So I think there's a huge lesson there for small businesses, but for authors as well, in terms of listening to what your audience wants. And you might have your vision for where you're going, but then you also have to be willing to pivot to respond to the needs of your clients or your audience or your readers. Does that sound right to you?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can have your plan and you can be straight as an arrow, but guess what? That might not be what everybody wants.
So there's lots of tools out there, image creation tools. I know every time I have to make a blog post, I'm like, am I doing this in Canva? Am I doing this in Photoshop? Am I, a zillion different tools out there. What makes BookBrush focused on authors and unique for authors?
I love that you asked that because I love talking about BookBrush. So, and like you said, there's lots of design tools out there and a lot of them are great, but they're not focused specifically on authors. So people mention Canva a lot. People call us Canva for authors. And what we did was drill down to all the authory things and then at the same time really beef those up. So for example, a 3D version of your book, we have about 300 of those from physical books, ebooks, books on phones, books or devices with hands, all kinds of cool things. And so every time you turn around in BookBrush, it's going to be something author centered. And so I think that really helps authors because the things are all there more so than when you're maybe in a tool that's for everybody. Those are great. But then you're like, which things are for me? And so in BookBrush, you'll find lots and lots of authory things. I'm making
Absolutely.
authory a word. I'm not sure authory is a word, but
Well, let's dig into authory. So, why were authors your target audience to begin with? Have you had an interest in books and writing, or where did that focused audience come from?
so, two answers to that. One, ever since I won the reading contest in first grade, I have been all in on reading, but I'm never going to be an author. So, I need everybody to keep writing so I can keep reading. So, there's that. And then the co founder and I have been friends since 1998. So, for years and years. And he started in the Christian niche and built up a whole email platform, which is why he was going to do the author side of the email platform. And then that wasn't what authors wanted. So just all kind of came together. And when he wanted to work in the author space, and he knew I had this love of books, and he was like, "You're the person I want to bring over." So we've been friends for a really long time.
You say you'll never write a book. Like, give me 12 hours and we can have the BookBrush storybook ready to go on Amazon. Believe me, as a writing coach, obviously talent and interest and all those things matter. But like building a platform, an online tool like BookBrush, writing is also a skill set with foundational elements that anyone can learn and execute on.
Well, and I should never say never because if you say never, then here oh, my kids would never do that. Oh, here they come nevering like they've never before. And you're like, oh, well, now I look really stupid. So I guess you never know.
You mentioned, all these different tools like the 3D image generator. Well, first off, let me say the thing that like blew my mind about BookBrush was I've used all sorts of different tools to generate 3D images of book covers throughout my publishing career, but all of them I produced one image at a time. So even if I'm working really swiftly or whatever, maybe it's 5 minutes up to like 15 minutes or more an image because I'm adjusting things or whatever. With BookBrush, you're like click, 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 12 images like that. So Tell me about that functionality because that's the thing that really blew me away. As a busy coach, a busy author, I'm always looking to save time. And when I saw I could create a dozen amazing images in one click, I was like, okay, I got to become friends with Kathleen. This tool is awesome. So tell me about that aspect of it.
Well, the technical term here is lickety split. You want to be able to do these
Mm,
lickety split. And
indeed.
yeah, so we have, yeah, like you said, tons of these. You just bring in your flat 2D cover and you just magically with a click put it in whichever format you want, download, and then you can choose lots and lots at once. And it's great because you can have the book facing all these different directions. Now, I will say the ebooks and the phones face every which way. Most of the physical books are positioned so you don't need the spine. That's a good thing
Mm.
because you can just bring in again that front 2D image and make it look nice. Now, we did build some with a spine because people said we want ones with spines. So that's an option. And you can either bring your spine in if you have it or make one in BookBrush. There's an option to do that. And then you can build those. But I think that's one of the most attractive things because if you're spending, and you're pretty good at things, 5 minutes, think of what these other people are spending just to get one created. And so you can have them stand alone or in all these different graphics for promotions all over the place.
We just talked about the 3D book cover generation tool, which will do paperbacks and on a phone and on a Kindle, all these beautiful different images of your book. But like that's just the beginnings of it. So you've got all sorts of other tools within BookBrush that authors can use to promote their book and even create covers. So tell us about the various different tools that you have going on within BookBrush.
Absolutely. So the custom creator is our flagship tool. That's the first thing we built. So you can do those 3D images in there, and then you can create all the different things you need for social media. So, for example, if you see the Facebook icon, all those images and all those different sizes are in there with the dimensions and pixels, like your cover photo, the different things. So you don't have to be out there scrambling, Googling, what size do I need? So those are all in there. So all the major platforms there, and then extra things like you can do swag items, bookmarks, coasters, book plates, stickers. Of course, you're going to design those and then send them to a printer. We don't have the printing, but you can get those all made. Amazon A+ content you can design yourself. And oh my gosh, when that came out with the ability for people to access their own KDP dashboard, it was really hard for people to do the three stack modules that flow really nicely. You've probably tried and struggled, although you're good at things. So with now you can build all three together. So you design it as one and then it chops and downloads the three. Exactly what you need when you head over and go to upload them in KDP. So there's that. And then we added animation and video backgrounds and all those things so you can make reels and those motion graphics, which are worth their weight in gold on social media because motion catches a reader's eye. And then, as we said, people tell us where we should go. And they're like, we really like making things in here. We want to make our own covers. So we developed the cover creator. So it uses all the same functionality, but you can do ebook, print, and print can be paperback or hardcover. And it's coded because we have nerds who like to figure things out in the background. So you don't have to know all those sizes for Amazon and Ingram Spark. If you put in your trim size, your page count, and your paper type, it gets you exactly what you need. So people have been doing a lot of great covers in there. And then there's a trailer creator to make little mini book trailers and things like that. Box set creator, so you can design your own box set image. I will say we don't have any elves making real boxes, so it's just an image, but still pretty handy for marketing. So lots and lots of functionality in there.
Yeah, the thing I think is particularly cool about it is a lot of authors, they are like you said, what did you call me? You said I have some sort of skill or something. You said I'm handy, I think, or something. I mean, a lot of authors are handy, or in especially self-published authors, right? You gotta figure out ways to get things done affordably when you're an indie author. And the thing I really like about BookBrush is like it's one tool, right? It's not like I have to learn CapCut to do my reels, and then I have to learn Canva to do my social media images, and then I need to learn something else to make my 3D book covers. It's like, here's this one tool that's basically going to cover the entire visual realm of what I need to market my book. And I don't have to learn six different platforms. I could just get on to BookBrush, spend a little time learning it, and then be able to produce all my images.
That was exactly our goal. We wanted it to be easy. We made it so there's not a real steep learning curve. You may get some really great results from Photoshop, but oh my gosh, it's really hard to learn. And that's not for everybody. And we just wanted tools that make people who feel like they have no design skills look good. So you can come in here, drop your book in here. There are tons and tons of pre-made templates that you can edit and modify and personalize and download. And suddenly you look really cool on social media. And you can say, I did that myself.
Absolutely. That's another thing that I really like about it is I'm okay at pulling stuff together. I can make a social media image, but in the back of my mind, I'm always like, I'm not a designer. I'm like, is this the right font? Should the book be to this side a little bit more? And so when I saw all of your different templates, it's like, okay, the designer has done their work. Now I just put my image in, my book cover in there, and I can go from there. And it relieves that pressure of being like, there's so much pressure on authors to do everything and be everything. And it's like, okay, I don't have to be a professional designer. Someone else has done the work to create the template. I can just drop my book cover in. And I love that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, because they say, oh, you're going to write a book. Turns out you have to be the jack of all trades in order to get that book across the finish line. But if you use BookBrush, there's a lot of tools in there, and that can make that part a lot less stressful and pretty good results too.
So you mentioned there's a book cover designer right there within BookBrush. Indie authors or any author obviously can make their own covers in there. But what if I'm like, I don't have the time or I don't have the confidence to design my own book cover, even with a cool tool like BookBrush? Then what do I do? Do you have any advice for that?
I do, and you're not the first person who was in this boat. So we do have some services. We do custom cover design, and I'll put it to you this way. I think if it's in your budget to have a professional design your cover, you may in the long run be happier with the results. That's not to say that it's not a good idea if that's what fits your budget to do it yourself, but we have custom cover design and we have done a lot of amazing covers for authors who said, can you just do this for me? I want to write, I don't want to design. And maybe, like you said, they're comfortable doing some of those smaller social media posts, but the cover sells the book. We have design packages for your custom cover that includes static graphics, and you work directly with a project manager, which is usually me. We call it guilt free. So people have worked with designers before because we've worked with a lot of authors. We hit 100,000 users last year.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
yeah, it's so cool. But so the thing is, they work with designers, and sometimes they don't advocate for themselves, and they didn't even like their cover, and they're sad, but they didn't want to hurt the designer's feelings. So in this process, you work with a project manager, we work with a designer, and you get a cover that you love, but also, even probably more importantly, the readers are going to love.
You have this incredible library of training material, and I notice most of it is hosted by you, if not, is it all you? Mostly you?
Here's the thing. We're a small company with big dreams. There's like six and a half of us. So if you see a YouTube video, it'll be me. I've been here since the beginning, and I'm the one who does pretty much most of those. And so I get really excited about any new thing that I can show people, even if it's not new to me, but it's new to them. And so we just show off the tools. But I have been on probably 350 author group Zooms coming in and showing them BookBrush, those little tools and things. It's always so fun. So yeah, it's me.
Is that a personal decision of yours to be so accessible? I mean, that's something I've noticed about you. You're in the videos, you're meeting with groups, you've been so accessible in terms of you and I talking about different things. Is that a conscious choice of yours in how you want to run this company?
Both conscious choice and necessity, since it's a small group of people. And I just I've been here since the beginning, and I know the program inside and out, and I can see when there's a bug or when we can make an improvement. And I tell you, our small dev team is probably like, oh no, here she comes again with an idea. And I'm like, guys, I bet we could make this. Like, for example, in one of our tools, we just added a different search feature where you can type in a color word, and it shows up all the images that have the color pink in them. I was like nerding out on this, and that just came out on Wednesday this last week. So we're always looking at what we can add and things like that. But yes, We want to be right there, easy to access. I've had somebody, I answer a lot of help desk tickets myself, and somebody wrote back and said, I have never giggled while reading and corresponding with a help desk person. That's because I tell myself and anybody else who's helping, smile when you're typing. They'll be able to tell. So, yeah, we're pretty accessible because, for one thing, we're small and we need to be, but that's the image that we want to have out there.
I love it. I mean, I think a lot of authors and indie authors in particular are frustrated with Amazon's monopoly. And, in a world where it's kind of like Amazon or Walmart or nothing else, I like to support small businesses focused on authors. And so that was just another thing I think is fantastic about your company is you're not some nameless corporation. You're a group of people working very, very hard to serve my audience. So again, like, I was just excited to discover your product. And I should give a shout out. So, author Sandy Day is a client of mine. She's the author of Odd Mom Out. She's the one who turned me on to you. She's like, Kevin, BookBrush is incredible. You got to get in touch with them. So, shout out to Sandy. But yeah, I just appreciate the personal nature of the company.
Well, thanks. That's exactly what we want to hear.
As someone who's basically an expert in creating social media images, are there things that you see authors doing wrong? And is there a way that authors can get more consistent in how they promote their books via social media images?
I have a couple of suggestions for that. I mean, I could do a whole laundry list of things, but one is just that consistency, and the consistency can come from kind of batching. So if you plan that you do want to post twice a week, which at a minimum, you could get those ready and even do 2 weeks at a time. So make your 4 images and schedule them so that you're not sitting there at dinner thinking, oh, and feeling badly about yourself that you didn't post because it's done and it's scheduled. And then the other thing is to kind of think through variety because you don't want to just have a glamour shot of your book every time or something that says, buy my book. That gets tiresome. So think about creating an experience on your page. And you can mix in graphics that are about the book, character posts, snippets, quotes, reader reviews, those lovely trope graphics with the adorably flirty arrows. We have the arrows, just so you know. All those things. So when you put them together, people aren't just like, oh, the book's for sale, it's 99 cents again. So with all the templates we have and things like that, the variety is good. Stay on brand. So don't post about a cactus if your book is meant to be this beachy, clean romance kind of thing. But getting your brand together and then having that rotation of the things and consistency. So I guess that's more than one tip, but I feel like I just want to pack as many things in there as I can.
Did I mishear you, or did you just say don't post about a cactus?
Yeah. So some people be like, oh, I'm on vacation. I'm going to stick
Oh,
this in
okay.
there. And it's like, yeah, but you write sci-fi. And so that didn't, so what I'm saying is everybody's a detective these days. And when readers go to look you up and then they find your social media and they can't find the vibe because there's just some random video of turtles eating lettuce. And then there's the cactus, and then you've stuck in your book. So stay on brand on your author pages.
I love it. This is something I tell my clients sometimes is I think there's a misconception that social media is about selling books. That like I'm going to post something on Instagram and then I'm going to sell a bunch of books. And what I often tell my clients is no, it's so that when someone does discover you and they go and check out your foundation, it's exactly like you said. Oh, here's an Instagram feed full of images about mystery books. Re-emphasize that this is a mystery writer as well. It emphasizes someone who's been around for a while. So it's not just about saying, hey, I post an image and I sell a book. It's also about building your brand and saying to people who do discover you, I'm an expert. This is what I do. This is what I write about. And I've been around for a while. So trust me. And that, as you know, in marketing, know, like, and trust, right? Trust is one of those big things. And how do we build that? We build up by saying, hey, I understand your genre and I'm going to deliver to you the things that you like. And so having that social media platform is a big part of that. But I think that's a mindset shift writers need to get. It's not just like post and sell.
Yep, I think you're exactly right. Think through how you're creating that experience. And if you looked at your social media feed and you pushed yourself back, what vibe do you get? What feeling? Can
Mm.
people just look visually and see, are there pink and purple flowers? Is there crime scene tape and dark and gritty? Both could be perfect for you, but not at the same time. One is for one author, and people that like the one will gravitate towards that. And then when they discover you and somebody says, hey, did you see that book by Kevin? And then they go look at your page, there's a lot for them to absorb and sink into, and they stick around. Rather than if they're like, "Did you see that book by Kevin?" And there's your cactus, and he posted once in the last 6 months. Moving on.
I'm curious. So many authors are like, I'll worry about marketing when the book comes out. When do you recommend authors start, like, let's say first time authors, a first time author, when do you recommend they start checking out a tool like BookBrush? Is it the day the book launches or perhaps a different time?
Perhaps way before that. So I guess there's a couple parts of that because you do want to have your cover reveals and build up the momentum and get your author pages ready. And BookBrush can do a lot of graphics, or you can make a lot of graphics in there even before the book's ready, setting the tone, setting things, all the different things about you and your author brand. If you're going to be in whatever niche, you can post about things about romance or, and even romance. Oh my gosh, from sweet, clean to spicy. There's a whole gamut there. So get your niche and get that. So I think the sooner the better to explore those kind of things. Get your pages set up. So if you're going to set up your Facebook and your Instagram author pages, have a similar handle so it's easy for people to find you. You can just post something once a week for a while. So people get it, and it may not get seen a lot, and that's okay. But when people do start to find you, there's a longer tail. So I would say don't delay. And then, of course, if you don't have your cover and you need cover design, you'll want to get in there and get started on that too.
Social media marketing, marketing of any kind, like anything, has a learning curve. So I always say, start now. Even if your book's coming out a year from now, play with this stuff. Start posting now. And even if those early posts don't get views, like you said, or likes, all the better, because you're probably not going to be amazing at it to start. So get into BookBrush, start playing with a tool like that nice and early so that when the book does come out, not only have you built the platform, not only have you had that long tail, but also you know what you're doing by the time the book's out there. And you're not having to launch a book and learn how to market a book at the exact same time.
Exactly. Get in there and get yourself educated and handy and comfortable with using everything.
Well, it's January. It's the beginning of the year. I think a lot of authors, well, not everyone is looking at their business, looking at their careers, looking at their lives and saying, what do I want to achieve in 2026? So what do you have to say to the authors right now who are kind of in planning mode, setting goals for the year? What would you say to them about this time of the year?
This January, we just talked about this before we got live that I was meal prepping, all those things. I'm thinking, what can I do for myself, my life? And so look at your plans for your January and your whole 2026 and figure out which things you want to tackle yourself and which things might be better served to be outsourced, and then work on those. Find people, like we have a full service option for social media. If that's not the thing that you're going to take the wheel on and you know you need to have it, that'd be something that might be a good time to put that in place and set that up for yourself for 2026. My social media is going to rock, and I'm not the one rocking it. Somebody else is going to take the wheel there.
Amazing. So you will run folks' social media for them?
We do. So, of course, we have all the do it yourself stuff with 100,000 users. And then we have people in the help desk and webinars who are like, I just want to write. I don't want to do all those things, but I know I need them. As a writing coach, you probably hear a lot of that with people coming in and saying, I thought I was just going to write this book. And so we have a full service option where we literally take the wheel on your Facebook and Instagram. We create all the posts. We do all the posting, the caption writing. If hashtags give you anxiety, that's no problem because we're doing those too. And that can be a really good service for some authors. It's not for everybody, but I do have some clients who just love that option. One lady emailed me and said, I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw this image I loved and it was mine. And we had posted it for her. She was so happy. That's how it should go. If you want to outsource that, that'd be perfect.
So if I'm an author who kind of likes to DIY things, but also maybe I'm super short on time or whatever, how do I know when the right time is to say, when's the right time for me to use your DIY tools? And when's the right time for me to say, just do it for me. Please take over it with this kind of full service support.
I think for each person, it might be different. If you try the DIY and you love it, maybe that's the thing for you. But also, if you like to sleep at night and there's not time for that, I mean, I like to sleep at night. So some people are thinking, what can I do? The writing is something that you need to do yourself. You can't probably outsource that to the same extent you could do your social media. So if something has to go and you know that you need this social media presence, that might be the right time. And we do calls with people all the time and talk through how it might look, show them examples of their genre and see if it's a right fit because it's a price tag that goes along with that, but it makes sense if that's what you want to do. So I don't ever want to tell somebody don't explore it, at least give it a try and see. And if you've got several books, that's even better because we can rotate through, each. Everybody's not going to see every post, no matter who you are. So we can work through all those different books and feature them at different times and do that for you. So we love doing the full service side too.
So when you say full service, does that mean I'm making the images and then you're posting them for me?
No, we will do everything. So some of our people who do full service also dabble over there and do a couple things that they want. But for the most part, we meet either, actually a lot of it's done over email, but we can meet virtually. There's Zoom. So we'll get on there and discuss the plans for the month and then we create all the graphics. So you would have five, in this scenario, it's five static graphics in a reel each week. So it's posting 6 days a week, which is pretty great for the author, but insurmountable to do on your own. That's a lot. And so we're doing all those professional graphics plus the rotation. So engagement posts, snippets, character posts, all those things that you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what bucket to pull from. So we bring all that to the table, make a content calendar and do all the posting. So image creation, caption writing, hashtags, posting, scheduling. So, like for example, on Tuesday, whatever goes on Facebook would go on Instagram as well, and then Wednesday the same thing. So we are going through the whole month. If you have sales coming up, new releases, just communicate that, and then we bake it into the graphics that we're creating.
Amazing. So I turn it all over to you guys. I sleep at night and you create this beautiful marketing campaign for me and I focus on my writing.
Absolutely. And we make sure, that it's on brand for each author. So that same thing I said, if you sit back and look at it, what kind of vibe? And we'll learn about you. So if you are a cat person and you want us to sprinkle in some cat images, we can totally do that. Or tea or coffee or whatever those things are. So it doesn't feel impersonal. It feels like you, but you're not doing it.
Something I noticed that you folks do are the video reels. It's so cool because yeah, it's fun to post a nice 3D image of your book or someone reading it on a beach on their Kindle or something. But I've noticed that, at least for the ones I know you've created for folks, they're mini stories. And as like a storyteller and a writer, I'm so excited. Oh, it's not just a post about my book. It's like almost a little mini film or a clip from my book. So cool. So tell us about that kind of video side of things. It's really neat.
They are amazing. So our, I would call them vertical videos, the reels are on point. And actually, we could mention there's a kind of a middle ground between full service and the DIY called hourly concepts, where you can order a la carte. So if you just want those, maybe you want to do your own static graphics, but you want some of those reels, you can order just those. But yeah, they're like a mini book trailer, maybe like 30 seconds, not even vertical. So they fit the size of your phone. So you're maximizing the real estate there. And it's got different words coming in the background, the music. So when you have music, animation, video background in your book all in one, I mean, what's not to love? You're hitting people with whichever thing calls their name, whether it's the music, the animation, whatever it is, and it all fits. So it's branded for your book. If it's going to be cozy mystery versus something really gritty, you'll get that vibe. So I love those. I could sit and watch those all day, but we wouldn't get the other things done. You wouldn't have any YouTube tutorials from me. So I don't watch all of them, but they're amazing.
If folks have watched this or listened to this and they're like, okay, I've got to check out BookBrush, and I highly recommend that folks do. When Sandy turned me on to your guys' tool, I checked it out. I was like, oh my God, I love this. And then I met you and I was like, oh my God, I love her. I really want to support this tool and you guys, because I think I like you and your approach. And I love that your tool is there for the people I work with. My job is to make life easier for writers. And so knowing that you have this spectrum of everything from do it yourself all the way up to, hey, we'll do everything for you is so great for me, because I work with authors who some of them want to do everything themselves, other than don't want to do anything. And so the fact that you have these different tiers, these different options is so exciting for me. So where can we send folks to go check out BookBrush and learn more?
Bookbrush.com. You can just go to our website. It's an online platform, which is great because anytime we make an update, add new things, they're right there. You don't have to download an app or anything like that. And just check it out there. You could also look at the social media link on there for the full service. And I'll make sure you have that. You could probably put it in the captions and things like that so people
Absolutely.
can check that out. And always, if you're just thinking, I'm not sure, email us. It's support@bookbrush.com. I answer a lot of them myself. But small team, and you could say, "Hey, I heard Kathleen on Kevin's podcast, and here's what I want to know." And then we could always hop on a call and figure out what suits you.
Fantastic. Well, Kathleen, thank you so much for taking time to join me on the Writing Coach podcast today.
I had a great time. Thanks for having me.